All right. Good morning, everyone. It's Giving Tuesday. And as your pastor, I'm here to give you some ideas about ways that you can help us and the church help those in our community. Um, First thing, I want to mention that on Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving, a unhoused couple, Tammy and Lucas Menard, were found dead in their tent near Wolcott out in a rural area. They had recently lost access to their hotel room through the state voucher program. Both of them were older, they were in their 50s. They had chronic health conditions that made it difficult for them to work full time jobs. And so they ended up in a tent and they ended up dead. This is absolutely tragic. But because of the cuts to the voucher program, we're going to be seeing more unmet need amongst our neighbors who are unhoused. And make no mistake, these are our neighbors. These are people who are part of our community, many of them born and raised here. So, unlike me. So, I just wanted to mention that. Um, but one of the things that we personally do here, we can't help everybody with everything, but there are some things we can do. So I have a list of a few things that you can do if you want to help us take care of our neighbors. We could use some emergency food supplies. I'm going to show you our pantry where we keep the supplies that we give out to our friends in need when they show up. This is our emergency food pantry. And this is what it looks like right now. It is basically empty. There's like nothing in there. And I had a young man show up during the concert on Sunday, and he didn't have anything to eat. And I had 2 sleeves of crackers and a can of soup that I could offer him. Um, so we could use some donations of food items for this pantry. And here is a list of things that you could donate that would be really helpful. The first thing would be canned goods, but only donate things with a pull tab because not everyone is going to have a can opener. And make it things that are basically ready to eat kinds of foods, like baked beans, little single serve cans of baked beans with a pull tab. Seasoned and other kinds of ready to eat beans with a pull tab would be great. Canned meats like Spam, those always have a pull tab. And that's a pretty substantial, and you got to figure people are trying to stay warm out in the cold. They need some calories. Um, Tuna in either cans with a pull tab or in little pouches. They come in pouches like peanut butters, like this in a pouch, things like this. Almond butters, stuff like that in pouches or cans with pull tabs. Protein bars would be great. Vienna sausages. UHT milk or soy milk or other kinds of alternative milks that look like juice boxes. They're generally in the grocery store. You'll find them where you find the shelf stable things of soy milk and powdered milk and things like that. They'll be in that kind of same area. Bottles of water. We can always use some bottled water, even though we hate bottled water because of plastic. But when we have someone come in need, it's good to be able to offer them some water as well. Juice boxes, things like that, that are, that they don't have to prepare, that's ready, that they can just shove a straw in and drink, are great. Breakfast foods, single serve breakfast foods, cereal bars, Belvitas, protein bars, things like that. Pop Tarts. I know it's not the healthiest of food, but folks need calories to stay warm in the cold. Um, so those are the kinds of food items that we could use, and those are always welcome. You could also donate some things like baby wipes. Those are good to give out to people who have no other way to get clean. Hygiene is really hard when you're unhoused, and we like to keep things like that around in here as well. And so we could use some baby wipes. Any other kinds of small personal care, hygiene, toiletries are also welcome. Maxi pads, tampons, things like that for women. So that is one of the things that you can do. You can donate to, it's Ted and Franny's Gift. Is that the name of it? Yeah, it's Ted and Franny's Gift. And it goes into our little pantry here, and any overflow will go up into the old archive room where we are also keeping some warm clothes. That's the other thing that you can donate is some warm winter clothes. And if you want to be really helpful, some things that are great to be able to offer people are new, not used. Don't send us your ratty sweatpants with 3 holes in the crotch, okay? New sweatpants, new underpants for men and women and children. Stretchy pullover bras for women in all sizes. Socks, clean packs of, or brand new packs of socks. Those are pretty important. T-shirts and sweatshirts as well. Not just coats, because people are often, most folks out there have a coat, but they're wearing clothes that they've probably been wearing for, weeks or longer. And maybe a fresh, clean pair of pants might be nice for people to have. Anyways, that's something that you can do to help. The other thing that we could use some help with is our fund for new Bibles that we are putting out there in the sanctuary. These are the NRSV updated edition. This is the newest version of the Bible. The ones that we have out there are maybe from the 40s or 50s. And it's definitely not the updated one. It's not the version that we use, that the lectionary uses. They're old. And we're just slowly going to replace them. Right now, we are looking for people to donate money to cover the cost of 10 that we've already purchased, and they were $13 a piece. So if you would like to help by paying for a Bible, come into the office and see Erica or Barb. We'll put your name in the cover of one of the Bibles where it says that it was donated by you. And if we get all 10 covered, then any overflow money we will use to buy some more. Okay, so that's the Bible fund. That's the second thing that you could do to help the church. The third thing that you could do is, if you would like, we really desperately need some money for what we now call the discretionary fund, but you may have heard of it called the Deacons Fund in the past. This is a fund that is left to my discretion as to how it is used. And it is by and large used for one-time emergencies for people in the community. One of the things that we do with it is that we will generally, of late, we've been doing gas cards for $20 a piece, and we really only have had the money to do like 5 per month. So that's how low the discretionary fund is. And basically, I could go over there and I could show you the cash box. It's empty. There's $0 in our discretionary fund right now, and it has been empty for a bit now. But gas cards, that's one thing that we use. We often have people come in who are trying to be able to get to work, and they have no gas. We had one young woman who came in and she had no gas for her car, and it was sitting at the gas station, and she was on her way to work, and she pulled into the gas station, ran out of gas, and had no money to fill her tank. So $20 isn't much, but $20 will get her to work or to the bank or wherever it is that she needs to go. So gas cards. And then there are other kinds of one-time emergencies. Some examples of what this money has been used for in the past include we purchased a tank of propane for $45 for a family who was living in a camper. This was a one-time purchase. We don't use this money to cover the chronic needs of people who come in constantly asking for money for the same thing. This isn't like for laundry or anything like that. This money goes for things like that. We had a family, they were living in their camper, it was the winter, and they had no heat. So we gave them a tank of propane. Another thing that was used was that there was a family who had a death and they had no money to provide funeral services for their loved one, And the local churches all got together and made a fund, and we donated $50 towards that fund so that they could hold a funeral for their loved one. Um, let's see. What else we got? We often use this fund to help church members who are in need when they are confronted with expenses that exceed their own funds. You know, like their car breaks down or they need new tires for their car in the winter, something like this. In the past, we have helped people supplement what they had so that they could afford these kinds of things. And these are church members, keep in mind. And there's almost always, when it's a church member, they will make an agreement of some way that they're going to pay it back over time. And so these are the kinds of things we use the discretionary money for. It's actually a really important thing for a church to have a discretionary fund, because we are often the place that people turn to when everything else fails. We're rarely the first place that people go for help. Um, and so as you know, there's a lot of need in our community. But anyways, if you would like to help, please choose one of those three things. Contact Erica or Barb in the office and make your donation. You can bring in items to the office and we will stock up the pantry. We will start building up a supply of clothing items in our, in our clothing shelf up in the old archive room, and you can get the feeling that you've done something to help someone this year who really does need your help and who is worthy. And I hope that you all will give generously to something this Giving Tuesday out of the abundance that God has gifted us with. Thank you. Bye.